In the quest for a greener runway, individuals embark on a remarkable journey towards sustainability in fashion, from education on conscious consumerism to upcycling pre-loved garments. Witness how visionary fashion designers and businesses in Manchester are setting trends and paving the path to a more sustainable future. First is an eco-conscious designer transforming pre-loved garments into timeless, sustainable treasures through visionary design and upcycling magic.
My name is Chavez, and the name of my creative studio, I would call that Bootleg Kid. The essence behind Bootleg Kid as a whole, it's always been about just doing my own thing and doing the opposite of what everyone else is doing. On a deeper level, that whole idea of moving against the stream and zigging when everyone else chooses to zag comes from the idea of someone being willing to walk, to choose their own path. And in choosing your own path, walking your own path, finding your own interests, your own experiences, your own style, all that kind of stuff, it helps the individual find out who they truly are, and maybe you might get a step closer to finding what makes you happy. As things have gone on, as things have developed, I've kind of adopted a few more sustainable practices in terms of, like, right now with this collection that I released recently called Walm. It's more of an upcycling approach to the design. Obviously, I'm taking vintage garments, I'm applying a design to them, adding my story to it, and then it's a whole new piece. Personally, I feel like upcycling for me, it's truer to, like, how I was raised. Because I grew up going to charity shops anyway, and always kind of been taught to appreciate what I have and make the most out of it. If I have a jacket or a pair of jeans that I like, I'm going to wear them that's how I enjoy the items I own, is to get use out of them, If someone give me some jeans, some old ass jeans that I haven't worn in a long time, I'll spruce it up, and put some of the footprints on there. When I gave them the jeans, they're like, yo, this is sick. Like, that's what most people say these days. Yo, this is sick. Like, they just love it, they just get excited. Design with the Mike Tyson Supreme t-shirt, that's where it all started. The reason why this is bootleg, because obviously kind of taken their box logo, very iconic, a lot of people like it, and I've recontextualized it by situating that alongside Mike Tyson. Everyone knows how Mike Tyson talks. That was a subject of a lot of, like, comedic stand-ups for a period of time, So obviously you combine those two elements, 2 + 2, you get 4, Supreme. Mike Tyson Supreme, put them together, recontextualize it. You got a whole new t-shirt, a whole new product. The most vital things, I will say, it has nothing to do with the product or the design, anything like that. It's all to do with the philosophy. Okay, what are you trying to say with your business? Study that, because I feel like creativity is more an act of discovery than an act of actually creating something. It's like unearthing a fossil. You uncover a little piece of it. You keep going, keep dusting it off, keep going, keep going, keep going. Eventually you'll unearth the whole skeleton. You can see what this thing is you're trying to create in its entirety. On top of that as well, when you know what you're saying, it makes things like branding, messaging, design, colors, all that stuff then falls into place. Because at the heart of it all, like I said, it's the message. Be open to the idea of not always having to buy something new. It's okay if something isn't brand new, fresh out of the bag, If you're able to just change it, recontextualize it, you give it a newer meaning. And as a new meaning, you can look at it differently, you can still appreciate it. It's nice to give people an opportunity to fall back in love with something that they've had for a long time.
Next is an independent designer and the director of a community-led initiative driven by a passion for enlightening individuals on how to prolong the longevity of clothing items.
My name is Valerie Touche. I'm the person behind VG Creation. Now I'm a director of a community group called Swap and Sew. I'm trying to encourage people to recycle, to use what they have in their wardrobe. People keep buying, throwing. They don't think about learning how to reuse what they have already. I started this at uni. It was not part of my modules. So I took a rice project on the side, and the project was what can you do to change the environment. And I did two clothes swap events here because I couldn't get everyone at the same time. So I did one in the morning and one in the afternoon so everyone could join. And when they all came at the end, they all asked me, that was good. Why can't you do it again? So that was how I started. And at the end of that one, I used what was left. I chose some of the clothes that were left and I created a baby blanket, which I took back to the university as the end of my project. So from then, my idea just changed. And throughout my education as well, I'm not more about what I wear, what people say, but it's how I feel inside myself. What I'm wearing, this is bar cloth. This is originally from Uganda, from the tree. Studies have proven that it's safe for the woman's skin. So I made this material when I was a finalist to the Be Proud award. That's a big award body in Manchester, and I was the finalist for that one. I have two other awards where I was awarded for what I'm doing, sustainable fashion, educating people, getting people aware. I've been joining with lots of different organizations like Healthy Me, Healthy Communities, Creative City. I go there to meet other people, to understand the needs of other people, and then to share my ideas with other people as well. What they do is, because they have like an organization, like a charity number, they could help me to apply for the fund, and then with that fund, I was happy to help people in the community for free. When I do my workshop, I always start with clothes swap events. They are all free because I have fundings to run the workshops. If you see something that you like during the clothes swap events and it doesn't fit you, then I ask you to bring it to the workshop when I do the sewing. Because after the first session, which is clothes swap, I start with sewing sessions and I teach people how to use sewing machines. So I teach them how to operate, how to do the hem. You can shorten your clothes, you can add elastics to it, you can add another piece of material to make it look a bit more fancier. I do bespoke garments. What I usually do is, when I cut the clothes, there are some scraps, the tiny bits. I save them and I put them into cushions so that it doesn't end up into the landfill again. So yeah, that's my way of saving the environment.
Next is the curator of a clothing exchange heaven, where wardrobes are transformed, beloved fashion finds its second home, and eco-conscious choices are always in vogue.
My name is Erin and I run Begsteel Borough, which is a clothing exchange shop in Afflex in Manchester. So I've always had a passion for fashion, but I watched a documentary when I was at college, maybe like 7 years ago, and it just talked about fast fashion and how it's overconsumption, it's overpolluting, and it basically kind of changed my perspective on clothing and how I shop and what kind of products I wear and how I spend my money. So I kind of started my awareness then, and then when I moved to Manchester, I didn't see anything that really suited my style or was circular in a way. I changed my style quite a bit, so I needed something that, in some way, I could change my wardrobe, but also still wear clothes and have the personal style that I do have. So yeah, I really just started it. It was very quick, very sudden. Yeah. The payment method is that. Before I did anything, I made a business plan. I did some research into secondhand fashion, into kind of the attitude, which at the time we know like secondhand fashion, vintage fashion is on the rise. So it was a very positive research session. But yeah, I did some research into kind of Manchester and how people shop, what people were interested in, and I got a lot of really good feedback to tell me that people would be interested in something like this. A lot of people come in, I meet people through Instagram, people find out about the shop. Word of mouth has been really, really, really good. So it kind of is the idea that people are always looking to get rid of clothes. They want new things as well. So all of the clothes comes to people who are looking to get rid of their clothes, essentially. Try not to accept clothing that's too damaged or beyond repair. Obviously, we try and fix things or DIY it up a bit to make it better or to give it a new purpose. So I've met a lot of really creative people who DIY clothes or kind of make them their own, and I'm lucky that I can like reach out to them and ask for help when I need it as well. There's been quite a few times, especially this time last year, I was having a really hard time running the shop because July can be very slow, which that's just how Afflex is, that's just nobody's shopping. This time last year I had a really hard time and I considered closing the shop, but instead I took some time off and I focused on what I needed to do, and reevaluated my love for it. And so it has been really tough, but I think my passion for it, I couldn't see myself doing anything else, so it's worth it to work through it. To be fair, everyone else had it. But the general public could help by not buying clothes from huge corporations that produce loads of waste, and just buy secondhand and support local charities, local businesses who are, trying to push a different way of being fashionable. Been quite validated in the kind of atmosphere of exchanging clothes because other people love it so much. So it's nice when people come in and they say, oh, this is such a good idea, oh my gosh, I love this, like this is a great way for me to do this. It just makes you feel good that other people love it as much as I love it.
Next is Bryony, the outreach coordinator at the cooperative named Stitch Top. Bryony and her team are on a mission to inspire a more creative, sustainable and individual approach to fashion.
My name's Bryony Moore and I work at Stitched Up Community Benefit Society, and our main aim is to inspire our local communities to take action on sustainable fashion. Our company structure is a community benefit society, so it's a type of cooperative, but this particular kind exists to benefit the wider community. The organisation started in 2012, but a year before that, in 2011, a few of us had met through mutual connections, and some of us met on Twitter because we were all kind of interested in sustainable fashion, but we were all kind of people that came from like creative and fashion backgrounds. So we came at it from that angle of like loving clothes, loving fashion, but being really worried about the state of the industry and the kind of harms that it caused to the environment and to people. So we kind of all met and started thinking about a kind of creative response that we could make, because we kind of all felt quite powerless in the face of the scale of the issues that face the industry. And coming from our creative backgrounds, we started running things like upcycling workshops and clothes swaps and doing like pop-up events around Manchester. There's three themes to what we do. We skill up, we reuse and we engage in the issues around the fashion industry. So in terms of skilling people up, we teach a programme of workshops and courses based here in Stretford. People can learn to make their own clothes, to repair them, to upcycle, which we think is really important because it just helps you to like get more use out of your clothing. And then on the reuse side of things, we take in donations of fabrics. So this shop here where we are now is full of fabrics, all been donated to us by businesses, by individuals, and we sell that on so that it can be reused by people who like to make stuff out of fabric. And then in terms of like the engaging with the issues side of things, we also do talks and film screenings so people can learn more about the problems with the industry and sort of figure out what solutions there might be they can take locally. So we have a film club, we will travel to different organisations to do talks and presentations and that kind of thing, and we get involved with campaigns that are calling for action, whether that be like calling out companies and asking them to pay their garment makers more, or adding our voice to campaigns that are sort of asking for brands to take responsibility in terms of how they manage textile waste in the supply chain. We're always delivering on our ideas several years late because we just don't have the resources to carry them out. So for example, the oral history project that I mentioned to you was an idea we had in 2016, and in 2022 we got the funding for it. So lots of things just take really a lot of time for us to figure out. People can help by coming along to our events, buying tickets to our workshops and events, which help to subsidise lots of the other stuff that we do that we provide for free, like our repair cafe. They can make a financial donation, or we never say no to those, that's great. Last year we diverted 3 tonnes of textile waste from landfill, and in Stretford here as part of our public programme of workshops and courses, we taught 308 people new sewing skills, and also 37 volunteers contributed 651 hours of volunteer time last year to help us achieve all of our projects and workshops and all that kind of thing.
I think the best part being part of the team at Stitched Up is being able to see people come in super nervous, not knowing how to do a certain skill, and then walking away again feeling empowered, feeling able to tackle their mending pile, even just sew a button on, understanding and having a relationship with their wardrobe that they just wouldn't have had before when they were considering it more throwaway.
You know, everything we do here is to better the wider community with very big goals in mind. But it's also about just doing what we can in our little bit of the world. With all the environmental issues and things going on in the world, it can be really overwhelming because it feels so out of reach and that there's nothing you can do. So working for Stitched Up, it makes you feel more powerful. Yeah, you can see the change, you can see the impact that you're having on people in the community.
These individuals are weaving threads of change in today's fashion industry. You can help too. By taking small steps, together we can create the transformation the fashion world needs.